Hello, everyone. Welcome to Childhood Expired, where we share our experiences in early adulthood. I'm Kike. I'm the funny and the wise one of the group.
And I'm Kathy. I'm married to Kike, and I'm the dog mom and the glue that keeps this group going.
And I'm Aburl. I am the college student that adds fire to this group.
And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the necessary, unnecessary means of survival. Working. So, our first jobs and not having experience. How did that go for you guys?
Well, my first job, so I started working really young. I started working when I was like 14, and it was in waitressing. So I got my first job at a Japanese restaurant. I was only there for like maybe 2 months. Did not work out. My boss had such a strong accent that I really couldn't understand her. It was so difficult. And then after that, I got another waitressing job at an Italian restaurant, and then ended up working with Catherine over here at Subway. And then I think my first like real adult job, or like when I was 18, right, was at Walmart, and I was there for about a good 2 years.
Your Walmart days, the highlight of your life.
They
right?
really were. They were my hello to adulthood.
My first job was at Subway. Prior to that, I didn't work early, so I went through all of high school without having a job. So after high school, my dad said I needed to get a job, which 100% made sense. It was time to go out to the real world. But I didn't get anything that summer, like post-graduation, because I didn't have any experience. And places won't hire you, and I didn't want fast food. So other than that, what's your option?
Yeah.
When you don't have experience, there's no option except for fast food. But I babysat my little cousin for the summer, and then summer ended. He goes back to school, so I needed to do something, and I got my job at Subway. And I really liked it there. I was there for a few months, and then I got a job there, and it was a lot of fun, and there was no oil and stuff, which was the big thing for me, that I didn't want fast food because I did not want hot oil. So Subway was a perfect solution, and I loved it, actually. What about you, Kika?
So my first job was only for 3 months before I moved on to the next one, and it was Bojangles. Bojangles, pretty common here in North Carolina. I would say that it was really hard going into that job because I had no experience, but my parents and I myself agreed, it'd be nice to like have a job, earn my own money, earn my experience. My parents did like, what's that word? Not necessarily teach, but they informed me on what is wise and what would be good to do. So I really was able to take that in, and it was really hard. I will say it was really hard to work at Bojangles and like.
At how old? At 16?
Yeah, I was 16. I was still in high school, and it was like, I cried for like the first week, as I'm pretty sure lots of people do in their first week. And if you're out there and you're listening to this, like, if you're crying right now, like, just take a minute, hold on.
Let it out.
Yeah.
Let it out. Just because everyone's first job, not everybody's first job, everybody's first week at something is always
it's a shock.
It's a
to
shock.
Your life.
Yeah. So honestly, it was a shock for me, and I felt like, even though my parents like prepared me for it somewhat, I still wasn't prepared enough. When I went out there, it was a total shock. I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know how to clean. I knew how to clean, but the way that you clean a restaurant is totally different from what you do at home or, at church. And that was a total shock for me. And I was the only one left after 11 o'clock, and I stayed till 12 o'clock at night. And that was a total bummer. And I was a minor. I wasn't supposed to do that. So that was another reason that it added a lot of pressure into it. And again, I was young. I have my own social activities that, broken hearts and stuff, silly little cheesy stuff. But all that piled up, and it was not good for my first experience. And it was like, is this really necessary? Like, is this something? that I want? Is it something that I had to do in methods of survival? Which brings me to my next point is working a priority? Is working for you guys a priority?
No, not even
No?
a little bit. No,
I say yes.
I think because working for me, it's not a priority because, I work part time. I only get I only reach max 30 hours a week. I still live at home with my mom. I'm not married. I don't got no kids. I don't even got a dog. I don't got nothing, if I want to just not work, whether it's the right or wrong thing to do, right? I have that option. So no, it's not. And even last year, I took that. I took that opportunity and I didn't work for 4 months and I traveled the United States. And that was the best thing ever for me. That was the best 4 months of my life, I think. And I needed that. So even now I'm going into university and stuff like that. Working's not a priority to me. I think my priorities are my education. And so at this point, it's not. And if I feel if it really was, I would be reaching 40 hours a week. I would be looking maybe for a second job. I would be putting in whatever, right? So I think for me in my situation, even as an adult, it's not my priority.
Yeah, I think that's really true. When you are in a scenario where there's not a certain amount of bills that need to be paid and all this adult responsibility, which in a sense you do have some just by being an adult, but obviously not to the full extent of being on your own, then I agree that you should, enjoy life and not just focus on work. But in our scenario, I do think that working is a priority because we're married, we live on our own, we have our house. And I'm the one that runs a budget in the house and the finances. And so I see all the numbers, right? How much came in? How much did we spend? What did we spend it on? And I do think, and I also work part-time. So it's not to the point where I have to be full-time. We're blessed enough to where we have enough money for me to just do part-time. But I know there's a minimum number that has to come in each month for the basics to be met. And then you need a little more money than that because things change month to month and you want to treat yourself and, take care of your mental health and have a day where you don't cook and buy food or whatever. But I do think that working is a priority in my scenario.
Working, I guess it depends on what term we're talking about. And the term we're talking about here is working in jobs and money.
Employment.
Employment. Perfect wording. And that is somewhat a priority because that's your method of survival. You need that income to be able to be stable. You're not doing it to per se your career, because if it was that, you would that would have changed the subject a little because you're working for things that you need, things that you want. But this is sort of a priority where you need to have in order to survive. So it is, working is not a priority, but it is. So it depends where you have it on.
So what part of it is not a priority?
It's not a priority when it's something that you don't need. For example,
overtime.
Yeah, especially. It depends.
No, dude, if you hit 40, might as well go more because that's time and a half. No, I was like that whenever I worked full time. I would always do overtime because it's time and a half. Always. Why not?
So the thing is, you're doing your method of survival and then you got other things that you got to take care of. It's not just about receiving the money to survive. It's not just the grinding to get the things that you want. It's also the things that matter around you. You're just going to become a money chaser if that's your priority. Which, it's sort of our next point, which is is money everything? I don't think money is everything. I don't think that money should be everything. I don't think it should be in the top tier list of everything that you need.
Priorities.
Yeah.
I think
it should be in the top tier list.
I know you would say that. You're that kind of person.
Yeah.
It's just that for me, I've always put in my mind, money does not bring anything. Money does not bring happiness. You are what makes money possible. You are what can make things happen with money. It's on your behalf. It's on your work. It's on your efforts.
Yeah.
But other than that, working may not sometimes be a priority. money is not everything 100%. Money is just a method of survival due to the system that we live on.
Yeah. And we definitely have in our generation. There's like grind culture, right? Like there is if you don't make this amount of money by 20 years old or 22 or 25, then what have you been doing with your life? Like these are the best years of your life. These are your young years, so you should be putting in the 50 hours, the 60 hours. You should be having a side hustle and like you said earlier, like when things get in the way of mental health, well then that's not it, you know. And money isn't everything. Money is important. Like I want that to be clear. Like that's very
it's
important.
a method of survival.
Yeah. You can't have it without survival, you know. And money doesn't buy happiness, but man, it makes things a lot easier. But like for me, I worked at Walmart for about 2 years, and then by the time I left Walmart, I was making a good decent amount of money. I'm going to school to be a social worker. And in this world, sadly, the way you go up in life, the way you make achievements, the way you are known, the way you can make things possible is if you know people, if you have somebody vouching for you. It sucks to hear, but hard work isn't always going to get you anywhere in life. It's knowing the good people.
Knowing the right people.
Yeah, hard work is going to get you recognition, but if it's not recognition by the right person, the right place, the person that matters, it means nothing, sadly. So Walmart wasn't going to get me that, right? Like Walmart wasn't going to get me to meet people or anything like that, you know? A recommendation from my boss means nothing in this world, right? So I had the opportunity to work where I work now, which is Catawba County Schools, and they had offered me a bit less, maybe like not a bit less, maybe like a bit less, you know? Like it wasn't a lot less, but it wasn't like a bit less. It was a bit less. And I had to weigh my options, either continue working at a job that works with my school, works with everything, And I've been there for 2 years. I know the job, I know the managers, I get my way in so many things, you know, and make a good amount of money, or go to a job that's going to help me in my future and not make that much money. And blessed that I took the option, and now a couple months later I make just as much money as I did working at Walmart, and then coming June I will be making more money than working at Walmart, doing the exact same job. So it's definitely a blessing.
And that's why is working a priority a question, you know, because it, like I said, it depends on what careers are you choosing. It also depends, like,
right, if it's building you up to your end goal, you're gonna prioritize it because it's a stepping stone.
Exactly.
And for sure, like when that scenario of like choosing jobs or where you're gonna be, money is not the only factor that you should look at to decide whether you take the job or not. You know, there's like in a scenario where you have bills and whatever, there's a sense that you need a certain amount or you can't take the job. But sometimes, you're sacrificing because it's a stepping stone that you know you need, or it's something that you're passionate about, or it's a job you've always wanted to try, or it's, you know, you're wanting the opportunity. Don't base that solely on the money factor. That's not the most important factor.
Okay, so you hate your job, but you don't know how to quit. You know, you don't know if you can quit. You can't quit. What do? What goes through your mind? How do you deal with that?
I don't think I've ever stayed at a job that I didn't want to stay at. Like, if I wanted to quit, I quit. I think even like at Subway, like I know it's okay. I know it's wrong, but like leaving without like the 2 weeks, 100% I've done it. 100%.
I was so disappointed in you when you left.
No, I don't care. Every job that I've had, I've given like a 2 weeks, maybe a 1 week if you really piss me off. But Subway pissed me off so much. That woman needs Jesus. Needs Jesus. I forgot what was the thing that ticked me off, what she said, right? Now it doesn't even matter, but I don't remember what it was, but it was like a conversation that I was having with her. And at one moment I was just done. I clocked out and I left. Didn't come back, didn't answer the phone. A week later I picked up my paycheck and she was just like, you and me are going to have a conversation. And okay, let's have a conversation. Why'd you leave? I don't want to work here anymore. Can I have my check? And she was just like, no, tell me why. And I was like, no, I want my check. And that was it. So I've never, even like at Walmart, when I left when I went on a leave of absence for like 4 months, I was just like, I need some time off to myself, I'm frustrated. You guys are pissing me off because you won't move me to my department that I want to be in. This and that, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I've ever felt so much like I have to stay here. Maybe it's because I don't think working's a priority.
Yeah,
That's probably right. Yeah.
I haven't had any jobs that I hated, honestly. And, well, I didn't start working until I was 18. So the last 4 years, I haven't had that many jobs. How many jobs have I had? Three jobs?
I think you had 3.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. So, but I genuinely liked each of my jobs. And my experience at Subway was completely different. I loved it there. I felt like a queen, almost borderline goddess, making those sandwiches. Like, just kidding. We don't believe in that. Just kidding. But no, for real. Like, I would feel that adrenaline making all those sandwiches. Like, I felt like an expert. I loved it, honestly. And on my jobs after that, too, I enjoyed them. And so I don't know that feeling of being like, you know, I cannot be here any longer. I need to leave.
Right, because like you never, even when you had jobs, you never even looked for other jobs. Like for me, I looked for other jobs while I was at my job because I didn't like it. When I was at Walmart, I looked for another job. When I was at Subway, I looked for another job, all that stuff. But you just...
Yeah, I never looked for another job while being at a job, no.
Yeah, no.
My Subway, a job got offered to me. And so I left, and you stayed there longer than me. The next job, I did get let go. They say it was financial cuts. I don't know. I think the owner kind of didn't like me. But it's okay. I understand.
It's okay. She moved on to bigger and better
I was
things.
a little hurt, but whatever. And then I found a new job and worked there for 2 years, and it was good there. And then I left to focus on ministry.
Yeah, you do ministry now.
Yeah. I would say that one of the hardest things for me was to quit. Yeah, like I am just very, I guess I'm not like smart in business wise enough to be able to make my own decisions and be able to how to get a raise. I've never asked for a raise. I don't know how to ask for a raise. Till this day, I'm talking with Kathy and I'm praying with Kathy that one day I'll be able to ask a raise. Because we're gonna...
I've never asked for a raise.
I have.
I've gotten one before, but I didn't ask for it. I just got it.
I want to be able to... For us to have a bigger house. One that we can have a family in. That when we can afford to have pets. One that we can afford more things.
Yeah.
And I feel
afford to have pets.
I know. Pets
priorities.
Pets are expensive.
We want a pet.
Yeah.
They're allergic to tap water, you know.
Wow.
So like... Those kind of things, like that's what I'm praying for. And it's hard for me to quit something that I am part of. Yeah. Like when I worked at Bojangles, I didn't know when to quit. I cried. I was in a lot of pain. I stayed late hours as a minor. And you know, there's a lot of people that do that. I'm not going to like put all my pressure on that. But my mom was, you know, like, you know, I'm glad that I have people that I knew that they work at McDonald's and that throughout high school they gave me a position there and I was able to make my living there until I graduated. And then my parents thought, you know, like, I think it's time for you to take a step forward.
Get a real job.
Yeah. So it was also because I had a hard time with my schedule, you know, being a student, trying to go to church. I didn't know what was right or wrong. I didn't know my priorities really well. So most of the time I would try to like get away from work, but now I'm like, I can split it off. I can actually like be responsible and like, you know, work in the mornings, church in the afternoons. Perfect. Beautiful. I don't have to work on Sundays. It's awesome. But back then I didn't know any of that. I would have to ask my parents and I'll have my parents tell them or something because they knew each other. And I mean, they would make it work. They would be like, all right, this is my schedule. So my parents moved me to the factory. The factory was tough. It was another experience where it was like a thing. Like this is back to our first question. Like first jobs without experience. How am I going from McDonald's to a freaking factory plant where I'm filling pillows with like cotton or feather and then having to like tag them and like I didn't understand. To this day, like I understand very little about it.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's a misrepresentation when you say pillows, because you call them pillows, but they were couch cushions.
they're cushions.
Big cushions.
They're also pillows.
They're not pillows.
Yeah, they're pillows.
They're cushions.
Hey, if they're as big as this, they're pillows.
You made pillows that big?
Yeah.
For the couches?
Yeah.
That's small.
Exactly.
For those just listening,
oh yeah,
just showed a pillow that's like
little
at least
head
two
pillow.
little sides.
A mini.
For the video.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like a
go
little.
ahead.
It's like a little neck pillow. Like
Yeah.
It should be around like minute 20. You know, wherever you're watching this is around the same time.
Those are just for decor.
If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, just look at the minutes and just go to YouTube and find
You're
that
crazy.
same minute. So yes, that's what I did in the factory, and then I got the opportunity. There was a spot available where my dad works now. Is that you design couches? You kind of like receive information from another factory, and they say we need you to supply this and this size by this size and this style, and that's what I used to work. But throughout all that, it was really hard experience for me, but it's something that really developed me into partially who I am now. It was really hard to get through, but it was great. And that was my legit on my own and Kathy's decision that I was able to assess that I have to quit.
Yeah.
You know, and Kathy has helped me hold on for the longest time because
of need. And that job paid him good. It provided for us. Like that job bought you your car, got us married, got us our honeymoon, bought this house. All from that job, you know?
Yeah.
Dang.
So it was something that.
Thank you, that job.
Yeah, for real. It was provision.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree. Like, thank you, that job. And yes, it was one of the very most important decisions that we've ever made was for me to be able to move on and go somewhere that we haven't explored yet. You know, so some other job, some other position, a new experience. And for sure, one of the reasons why I had to quit for sure was because every time I came home, I brought in the money, but I wasn't happy. And you know, I kept bringing this negative side off of me, and I would just, it wasn't like I was doing anything bad to Kathy. It was just more like mentally, I was just, anything that I had to tell Kathy about work was just negative. It was negative, and it was just like bringing negativity to your home, and I don't want to do that. And it was unhealthy, and we acknowledged it. It came to a point where I was like, you know, it's not, it doesn't look healthy. It doesn't seem healthy. It is not healthy to be able to have to work in such an environment like that. It's not worth it.
No,
At what
it's
cost
not.
are you getting that money? You know, like, I'm not going to risk myself. It is not a priority for me to sacrifice myself just for that.
Yeah.
So we were able to pray about it, and we were blessed with that and be able to quit and move on with that. That was our first decision ever to be able to quit.
I said, Kika, I'm going to get you out, man. I'm going to get you out.
Yes.
But we got to wait on the Lord to give us the green light.
Of course.
We got to bear through it, make sure we have savings, because if another job doesn't come or another job comes and it goes south, we have to be prepared. Exactly. But I'm going to get you out.
Yes. And for those of you that are out there and you hate your job and you want to quit, just hold on and make a plan first. Just, you got this. Don't jump the gun. As some people say, don't jump the gun. Don't do it out of emotion. Emotions betray you 95% of the time, to be realistic. Sometimes it saves you from things, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest things that will ever come across your workaholic life, your means of survival. You know, it's the fact that you have to be able to know what you want and how you want it, your priorities, your means of money, your means of survival. And
or like boundaries of like, does your work come home with you?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are many things that you got to look into. It is not just as easy as working and getting the money if you want to do it the right way. Yeah, go ahead, get a job. Some people don't have that privilege privilege to get a good job.
Right.
I'm not saying the perfect job, the perfect career. I'm just saying a nice job. Hey guys, I work at McDonald's right now as a maintenance, and I'm fine. I'm happy. I get to work with very nice people that also come to my church and are able to understand where I come from, and they respect me, and they were able to, they were like, hey, this spot opened. Are you able to come and help us? And I was totally down for it.
And you're happy there.
I'm happy there. I don't feel like I have to come home and be like, this sucks. My manager sucks. This and that. I'm constantly getting bugged about something like, oh, if I get bugged at, it's just something stupid,
Yeah.
Like, and I'm fine with being bugged with something stupid because it's like, I know that at the end of the day, that's not going to kill me and I can get over it easily. That is where I'm at right now. But again, make a plan. Don't quit at that moment. Do not.
Yeah.
You can look for other jobs. Do that. Pray about it. Think about it. Save. Because there'll be times that if it doesn't go right, you'll go south. All right? There's a verse that we also want to bring with this, which is, may the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. And that is in Psalms 90:17.
Amen. Put it in the hands of the Lord.
Like, bam.
Yep.
Bam, bam, bam.
If it's ordained by him, you will be blessed.
Amen.
So that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed and you were able to get something out of this. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Take care.